guys, how are we doing? It is Martin Cliffe here with another video, and this is a continuation on the video that I shot yesterday, but posted probably a few days ago by the time you see this, about being unique versus being versatile. And in that video I talked about gear and sound, and I alluded to the fact that playing technique maybe had something to do with it too. So in this video I'm looking more at that side of things. As a result, I have a camera that's pointed straight at my right hand, which you can see nice reflections of lights in on the guitar because it's nice and shiny. But because I wanted to talk about how much, it's one of these things you hear a lot of guitarists spending a lot of time focusing on their left hand because the left hand is deemed as more important. It's interesting because as a bass player, your sound is probably 70% right hand or plucking hand, 30% left hand. As a guitar player, it tends to be regarded as the other way around. In fact, probably a lot of guitarists would say that it's 80% left hand, 20% right hand, or if you're left-handed, the other way around. But you know what I mean. And I would garner that there's actually far more to right-handed technique than that. Whether you're playing a standard just with a pick, even then maybe you're playing something that's just you're just using downstrokes for effect. Whether in a kind of punk scenario, or just because I didn't realise my delay was on. Let's take that off. Just because you want to really get some notes to punch out, because it's undeniable a downstroke can have more power than an upstroke. Gravity. One little upstroke snuck in there. So maybe you're doing that, or maybe you're doing alternate picking for fluidity. Yeah. Or your sweep picking, which I am really not very good at. I never got that technique growing up, and I still haven't really got it now. And it's certainly with a clean tone, it isn't going to work great. Or you're doing what we call economy picking, which is where you think about where the next note is. And a good example of that is actually the thing that guitar shops hate to hear, which is Sweet Child of Mine. Just because while you can play it in a number of ways, a good picking exercise is to make sure that you pick it using economy picking. So just because it helps with the fluidity. So essentially, rather than playing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, which would be the alternate picking approach, with economy picking, you're playing down, up, down, because you're always picking towards the next string you're going to play. So that's kind of, it's what comes more naturally to me, and it's something that I've taught my students over the years, and not exclusively. Say there are some times that just downstrokes are great. Sometimes you need to do alternate picking. Sometimes, particularly if you're strumming, you just need to be relaxed. So no, there's lots of different ways just using the pick. And a lot of people don't think about that. They'll play one style, and obviously if you're in Metallica and you're James Hetfield and you just want to play downstrokes 99% of the time, that's fine. But if you want to be versatile, you need to think about these other techniques. And then you put the pick down and you start to think about maybe some fingerstyle playing. Or maybe you'll just use your thumb to or you can play Albert Collins style and really snap the strings with your thumb and your index finger. Or you're playing, as I say, the open finger style that I did, or more than words, which is mostly thumb and then fingers. All these different right hand techniques using just your hand. I've even there you might have tap harmonics with or without a pick. And I'm not even going to get onto tapping today. But then something that not a lot of rock players do, although it's coming in a little bit more because of the influence of country on rock, despite the fact that a lot of rock guys wouldn't like to admit it, is hybrid picking, which is something that I did for a while before I even got into country music at all. Which is where you take your pick for notes on one string, and then you use your middle finger to pluck the next string, and maybe your ring finger to pluck the next one still. Which is great for arpeggiated figures like that, but where I find it really comes into its own is not only when string skipping, so you can play something that would be quite hard to do with a pick. Not impossible, particularly if you're used to string skipping and using economy picking. But it is just so much more economical just to... You get a bit more snap. But also I do that a lot now when I'm playing lead stuff generally. I will down pick and then on the upstrokes I use my finger. So all these different techniques help make you versatile, so you can play more playing styles. If you want to play Wes Montgomery jazz, you need the thumb kind of thing going. But then that's also a Hendrix kind of thing. Because Hendrix was very Wes Montgomery influenced, I believe, and so many other people come to that. So being able to use the thumb being able to switch between thumb and fingers, or pick, or hybrid picking, all of these things are about versatility, but they're also making you making you unique. So the more techniques you learn, the more uniquely versatile you get. Don't know, just ideas. Work on your right hand. Try and develop new techniques. Every additional tool you put in your toolbox makes you a more versatile player, but you just mould it into yourself. Particularly as an experienced player, if you've been playing a year or two, maybe learning a new technique will influence how you play. But if you've been playing 15, 20, 30 years, it's more likely just to roll in and become encompassed in the you as a guitar player, and that's can only be a good thing in my book. Okay guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Let me know what you think. More videos on their way.